بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us the opportunity to come to His house. Ask Allah to accept our ibadah, forgive our shortcomings, grant us the khair of this day and protect us from all types of evil. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. In the series of Al-Mu'min al-Qawi khayrun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-Mu'min al-Da'if. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, a strong believer is more beloved and better in the sight of Allah than a weak believer. So our goal is to become the one that is beloved and better in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is a strong believer. The first characteristic of a Mu'min al-Qawi we talked about it was his faith. Number two, to sacrifice his life and his wealth in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and fulfilling the ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number three, al-hubbu lillah wal-bughdu lillah. Al-mu'min al-qawi, a strong believer, is the one who controls his desire and he makes his anger as well as love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are two elements, two things that are found inside this human being. And by the environment and obedience of Allah, both of these things, love and hatred, they get corrupted or they get governed under the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the corrupted one is the one that a person loves someone for his own sake and he hates someone for his own sake. I don't like this person. I like this person because he has this. So it's not about my likes and dislikes. It's about the likes of Allah and the dislikes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person ما بلغ عبد حقيقة الإيمان. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, a believer, a person cannot reach the reality of his faith until he submits to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered. Until he does not bring this understanding into his mind that my existence, my love, my hate, all of that needs to be governed by the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I will like a person because Allah likes him. And I don't like the behavior of this person because he is involved in such an action which is disliked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call out this announcement. Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu anhu has narrated this hadith, that on the day of judgment, Allah will make this announcement, أَيْنَ الْمُتَحَابِّينَ فِيَّ وَالْمُتَجَالِسِينَ فِيَّ وَالْمُتَزَاوِرِينَ فِيَّ وَالْمُتَبَاذِلِينَ فِيَّ. Where are the people who love each other for my sake? Where are the people who visit each other for my sake? Where are the people who sit with together for my sake? And where are the people who spend on each other for my sake? So our sitting, our visiting, our gathering, and our spending should be governed under the radar which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, and should be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no personal attachment. There is only religious attachment. There is only the attachment of deen. And the bonding of deen, it is more stronger than personal bonding. Because Allah's help and assistance is with this. When a person likes an individual, he supports an individual, he votes for an individual because he likes him, then on the day of judgment, this exact action will be held against him. And in this dunya, Allah will make him see a time, a situation where there will be a dispute between these two individuals because they supported each other for the wrong cause. Allah will show them. Because the person who likes or he does something or he loves someone and he does not have the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أبغض Allah Azza wa Jal will make that exact thing or his exact individual go against this person in the future because the assistance of Allah is not there. So when we do things, when we love someone for the sake of Allah, and when we dislike someone's action for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we are ready to accept in whatever condition, in however the situation might be. Why? Because we are doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So our relationship, our friendship should be governed under this radar that is it for the sake of Allah or is it for my own personal gain? In the riwayat of Sahih Muslim, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call upon those who sit together and love each other for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah Azza wa Jal will tell him, Al-yawma adhillu fi dhilli, yawma la dhilla illa dhilli. That today I will give you the shade of my throne, and there is no shade except the shade of my throne. So to be under the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to govern our likes and dislikes. And that is because nafs always tells us to fulfill what we desire and what we like. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ordering something that is against our nafs. Because the nafs tells us to do evil, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders us to do good. So we have to make our nafs according to the orders of Allah, not according to our own desire. We ask the Almighty Allah to make us among the righteous ones. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to inculcate this quality inside us. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Jazakum Allahu khairan. Subhanallahi wa bihamdi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta.